Welcome to The Newsworthy. All the day's news in less than 10 minutes. Fast, fair, fun, and on the go. Thank you so much for listening. Today, the government shutdown avoided. Tariffs ×2, and Trump's lawyer quits. Plus, the March for Our Lives rally, Starbucks pay equity, and Snapchat's Snap Map. That and much, much more in less than 10 minutes. I'm Erica Mandy. Today is Friday, March 23rd. You ready? Let's do this. Congress just voted to avoid a government shutdown. First, the House approved the latest spending bill, and early this morning, so did the Senate. Remember, Congress had to pass the bill before midnight tonight to keep the government open and running business as usual. This latest $1.3 trillion spending bill will fund the government through the end of September, assuming the president signs it, which he likely will today. It's official. President Trump signed an executive order to put tariffs on about $60 billion worth of goods imported from China each year. We're talking electronics, clothes, and more. The New York Times reports the order also comes with a crackdown on how much China can invest in U.S. companies, specifically tech firms. The White House says it's retaliation, that China has used intimidation tactics to get U.S. technology and trade secrets. China, though, is already hitting back. CNBC says China is now proposing about $3 billion in tariffs on more than 100 U.S. products that go to China: nuts, wine, steel pipes, and more. But that's only if the two countries don't come to some sort of agreement. Still, Wall Street was not a fan of a potential trade war. Reuters reports stocks fell big time. The Dow Jones was down more than 700 points yesterday. Speaking of tariffs, you know the ones on steel and aluminum imports announced earlier this month? Well, they go into effect today. But there's been a slight change to the original plan. This week, President Trump told some U.S. allies, you're off the hook, at least for now, meaning the imports from those countries won't have that extra tax tacked on. The Washington Post reports the president made the European Union, South Korea, Argentina, Australia, and Brazil exempt from the tariffs. And remember, Canada and Mexico were already left off that list as well. But President Trump says he can change his mind at any time and says the relief on those countries is temporary. Talks are still in the works. Countries that could be hit hard by these steel and aluminum tariffs that start today are Russia, Turkey, and Japan. Reminder, we're talking about a 25% tariff on steel imports and a 10% tariff on aluminum imports coming into the U.S. These are definitely controversial. Supporters say they'll support the U.S. manufacturers and national security. Critics say it could prompt a trade war and impact other U.S. industries. The president has made up his mind, and he picked his next national security advisor. It's the third one he's had now. Lieutenant General H.R. McMaster is out, and John Bolton is in. Bolton is a former UN ambassador and Fox News contributor. Fox News reports he was a strong supporter of the Iraq War and has a pretty aggressive foreign policy view. He'll take on the new job starting next month. President Trump's personal attorney just quit. It's not exactly clear why, but we do know the president has added to his legal team recently. CNN says John Dowd did have nice words for the president even on his way out. And to be clear, Dowd is part of the president's personal outside legal team. Trump also has a different White House attorney who is still there. The lawyers that are left will have some work cut out for them. First, the Russia investigation, but also more legal issues surrounding allegations of affairs with Trump. This Sunday, adult film star Stormy Daniels will be sharing her story of an affair on CBS's 60 Minutes. She's been trying to break a non-disclosure agreement she signed with Trump's lawyer. And this week, another woman, former Playboy model Karen McDougal, told CNN about her story of an affair with Trump. President Trump has said the allegations aren't true. All right, other things people may be talking about today. The March for Our Lives rally in D.C. this weekend. It's tomorrow, this Saturday, March 24th. It's the one students who survived the Parkland, Florida school shooting have organized, and it's expected to bring 500,000 protesters to downtown Washington. The Washington Post reports the students are demanding lawmakers take more action to stop gun violence and make sure schools are safe. The student organizers were on the cover of Time magazine this week, sharing more of their story and what it's been like for them. And speaking of Time magazine, it's now up for sale, along with some other big magazines under the same publisher. We're talking Sports Illustrated, Fortune, and Money. Variety reports the publisher, Meredith, already laid off about 200 people, and it's planning to get rid of another 1,000 positions this year. And by the way, Meredith just bought Time magazine last fall. Starbucks says all our U.S. employees are paid equally across race and gender. The company said it started paying attention to this issue about 10 years ago and has used tools and analysis ever since. And now Starbucks says it's at 100% pay equity. How did they do it? Well, Forbes reports it's in part not asking employees about past salaries, annual reporting to the organization, and talking openly about wages. Their next goal? Pay equity for employees around the world. Snapchat is pushing its new feature called Snap Map, as in your location with a map. It's a way to share with your friends on Snapchat where you are, or maybe a trip that you just took, showing your Bitmoji or a picture over an actual map. It's not based on what you type in, it's based on your phone's actual location. The Verge reports it also works with breaking news and other things that might be happening around you. And just like the typical stories on Snapchat, it's gone after 24 hours. If you're a little worried about this one, the whole location sharing thing, and you want to keep your privacy, Snapchat says you do have to opt in to share where you are. And even if you do opt in, you can choose ghost mode. The company says the Snap Map feature is rolling out around the world over the next few weeks. Instagram has apparently heard your concerns and says it's making some changes to the algorithm, putting more recent posts back at the top of the feed. Facebook-owned Instagram says it won't be fully chronological, but it'll try to address the concerns at least a little bit more. Gizmodo says Instagram is also testing a new posts button that will take you directly to the newest posts in your feed. Stay tuned. He was the world's last male northern white rhino, and he died this week. CBS News reports the rhino's name was Sudan, and he died in Kenya at age 45. His daughter and granddaughter are the last living northern white rhinos in the world. Conflict plus poachers who want their horns have caused them to be almost extinct. A new study says a huge pile of trash in the Pacific Ocean is now twice the size of Texas. USA Today reports it's the world's largest collection of ocean garbage, and it's growing. It's called the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. It's halfway between Hawaii and California. Apparently, winds and the ocean currents kind of funnel all that trash into the one spot in the middle. It's now more than 600,000 square miles and weighs 88,000 tons. And that's it. Thanks so much again for listening. I am loving all of these reviews on iTunes, by the way. The latest two are so good. I'll read one today and then another one next week. But one of them said, quote, "So few news outlets are fair and objective these days, and The Newsworthy does an amazing job of giving you a mix of stories that are not only relevant, but also interesting conversation topics. Every morning I get in my truck, play your podcast, and say, 'You ready? Let's do this.' I heard my girlfriend listening to it last night. Spread the word. This is the best podcast to stay informed." Thank you so much for those kind words. I'm very grateful. And of course, for everyone, if you want to read more about any of the news stories that we mentioned in today's episode, just head on over to thenewsworthy.com. You'll find links when you click episodes and then today's date. Episodes are always ready for you right here every day, Monday through Friday by 4 in the morning. So I'll be back on Monday. Have a great weekend.